Jaws lie, baby. You're gonna need a bigger boat.
All right. Hey, here we are. Thursday night.
Thrilled to make a cameo.
Everybody's up and running. How are we doing?
I'm good here on Amity Island, man. All's good. It's cold.
It is definitely. I think it's cold just about everywhere.
Cheers.
Just about everywhere.
It hasn't gone above freezing in New York City in like I don't know how many weeks. It's crazy.
We hit 32 today, and kids were like wanting to take jackets off and walk around outside in t-shirts. You know what I mean? It's been like 7 degrees in the morning. I mean, for God's sakes, yeah, it's been bad. Yeah.
Wait till tomorrow, Saturday morning. We're supposed to be like minus 25 wind chills here. It's just not right.
We got that forecast too here for the New York area. Crazy.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, enough about the cold weather in the winter, because I know we're probably all getting a little bit sick and tired of that. I know I'm definitely tired of being indoor, but I want to thank everyone for coming on tonight, and I want to welcome our special guest tonight. This is someone I've been kind of really anxious to have on. We have joining us tonight, Michael Blanchard. So, Michael, thanks for joining us, buddy. Very
welcome. I'm looking forward to you guys.
Big pleasure having you on tonight. Michael Blanchard, for those of you that don't know, Michael Blanchard happens to be incredible photographer, award-winning photographer, if I'm not mistaken by saying that, and also a resident of Martha's Vineyard. So there's a lot of reasons why we like him. Oh, he's a Jaws fan too. So we there's a lot of facets to Mike that we like an awful lot about. So very cool. And joining us tonight, we got Janie's on here with us. We got Mike tonight. We got Val, myself. So I want to thank everyone for hopping on and joining us. We got a couple people starting to kick in and chime in. Robert's joining us, saying hi guys, glad to be back. All right, Robert, thanks for hanging out with us this evening. A couple of people over on the pages. So, Mike, you're a photographer. I know a little bit. You know, you've authored a couple books. And you're an Islander. So I'm jealous for an awful lot of reasons, because we've all been to the island. I love going to the vineyard. I get there probably once every 2 years, but you get to kind of see it at the different times that I don't. And you must know the island quite well by now. How long have you been there?
On a total, I guess, on a full-time basis, since 2015, but before then, on and off, probably since 2008, 2009 or so. So it's been a while, man. It's my home in more ways than one, you know. And so it was a weird journey getting here. You know, you mentioned the 2 books and such, and that's a whole story. But the combination of just turning, I mean, I wasn't a photographer. I found that late in life, and it happened to come on Martha's Vineyard, and you know, what better place? So the vineyard. I was
going to say,
yeah.
There's not much more of a picturesque place that I have been to, at least some of the scenes that I have seen. And I had read in your book that when you got to the vineyard, you had almost like a spiritual connection to it. And I don't live there, but I have to say, I went there the first time just on the surface because I wanted to see Jaws stuff. And my entire family and myself, we fell in love with the island. And I mean, it's a pipe dream that maybe we can possibly get there for more than just like a little bit or during the summer at some point. I mean, absolutely love it up there. So yeah.
And I feel like a real estate advisor, because when people come into the gallery, they come in here. I'm in my gallery here in Oak Bluffs, and I can't believe you get to live here. We're gonna, you know, and a lot of times they're saying we're gonna go look at this house and we're gonna go put a bid in, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, hold on. You know, sometimes there's, you know, the excitement you feel in the week you get here. Sometimes people get carried away, and you know, but everybody universally is jealous that we get to live here. My Anne Marie is a nurse practitioner at Martha's Vineyard Hospital. And I have my dog Brody, who's a female, but you know why she's named Brody. So it's Brodie, because like a Scottish Brody girl. I have Rocket Man, which is a pain in the butt cat.
Oh, nice.
But we, we've had the gallery here for 8 years now, and Brody's 9. We've got people that come from all over the world. I have I've been telling my story using Martha's Vineyard photographs for the last 12 years, writing stories and attaching them to photos on social media. And it's a combination of touching people with words, but also the photographs and people. It's like you and me. There's something religious about Martha's Vineyard. I've gone around the country and taken pictures of Yosemite and Death Valley and Zion, and people follow my adventures across country, and they say, "Oh, I'll put those photos up in your gallery." And so I'll come back here, and I dedicated the whole back wall once for a road trip out west because people were so enthralled with the photos. Do you know how many photos I sold? 0. People would come in and they would say, "Oh my God, those are beautiful. We got married at the East Chop Light. Do you have an East Chop Light photo?" Because it's that connection with Martha's Vineyard. They're not coming here to buy Zion photos. And a lot of people have that Jaws connection, and whatever it is. Over the years, this is their family place where they've been coming for years as kids, and now they bring their kids, and they're not here to buy, photos from anything other than Martha's Vineyard. And so that's not too shabby, though. I don't mind having that as my world, So I get to meet a lot of people from all over the place that come here. But the Jaws piece started it back in 75. I was in high school, and of course we all talk about this. Field of Dreams is one of my favorite movies with Kevin Costner. But if you told me, where were you when you saw Field of Dreams for the first time? I would have no idea. But I was in Niagara Falls, New York with my family when I saw Jaws for the first time when it came out. And I, with Hooper, it changed my whole direction because I wanted to become a marine biologist. I was going to go in a completely different direction.
No kidding.
You too, right?
Same. Absolutely. It was because of Hooper.
Because of Hooper. And when I went off to college, I remember seeing these scenes. I didn't know it was Menemsha and different places back then, but it was like I found my calling, and when I went into college, and so that it sort of got based there because I've always had this vision of Martha's Vineyard, Amity Island, that was set so many years ago. But when I went to University of Connecticut, I volunteered to help in the marine biology lab, and I would go out scuba diving and helping students with their projects. But it was a benthic lab, meaning they studied worms.
Yep.
And I was actually involved in an experiment watching how fast snails move over a 24-hour period. And I never saw Hooper once measure snail movement. And so I said, man, I don't, unless that was an outtake where he graduated up to sharks. But
no, they saved that one for Jaws 4 when they were doing the conchs. So there you go.
Okay, yeah.
Offhand, do you remember how far they do move in 24 hours?
They don't give a damn. All right. we used to go. I used to be in Connecticut, in Brantford Harbor in Connecticut. We'd go down every 15 minutes with a ruler, and we'd hold our breath as long as we could to measure how fast the snail moved in as long as we could hold our breath, but a minimum of 15 seconds. They don't change their movement over a 24-hour period. They don't sleep. They don't get all excited when they get up in the morning. None of it matters. And so, the marine biology thing, it wasn't what it was cracked up to be. So I ended up, going into the medical profession. But, you remember that, when I came to Martha's Vineyard the first time and I went to Menemsha, I thought I was like seeing God, it was like a religious experience because you said, holy Jesus, these shacks, they're not that different than they were in the movie,
Right.
Yeah, very much so.
And so, when you put that on top of the fact that, I ended up going into a business career instead of, studying sharks or snails or whatever. But, and that ended up, getting me high and mighty with large titles and making lots of money, but it also came with the disease of alcoholism. And it took that whole path. I had to eventually crash and burn in a significant way. I was arrested multiple times for drunk driving. And then I attempted to purchase Xanax and take the Xanax with the vodka to try to, because I didn't think I could ever stop. So I just, didn't want to wake up. And that ended up being my bottom from the disease of alcoholism. And what happened from that is that I erased all the stuff that was in the past, and it gave me the freedom to recreate. And by a bunch of circumstances, I ended up getting a message, long story, but it's in the book, that I should be a photographer. And I got that message and I ran with it. And it happened to be on Martha's Vineyard. And so Martha's Vineyard not only was the place that, I was first, wanted to become Hooper, it was the place that I ended up healing from the disease of alcoholism. And I did it with a camera in my hand. So I got to know this island intimately, and it ended up giving me a chance to reconnect with nature, spirituality, whatever it is you want to call it. And so, I don't know if I could ever leave here. I don't think so. It would be tough to do. It's a pretty magical place.
1000% agree.
Yeah. Well, and you guys have, wherever you are, wherever you live, you're New York, Pennsylvania. I mean, there's places that you just know are home.
Right.
And it's a soulful feeling that you can't necessarily explain. I've lived in lots of places, but there's just something weird about this place, and it just doesn't get stale,
Yeah.
There are photographers on Martha's Vineyard that come and go, and usually you'll hear them say, I've taken pictures of everything there is on this island. I need greater challenges. I need to go somewhere else. And I've never felt that way. The island's beautiful, and you can stand in the same place for 3 hours. And as the light changes, it looks like you've been there for, 3 separate times in three different months. I mean, you're not really taking pictures of the Chappie Ferry or whatever. It's the conditions that are there and the light that comes off of those things. And so you have an infinite possibility,
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I was going to say, I will just hop on it. I follow you, look your stuff on Instagram, over your Facebook pages. And that's what I look for. It's the seasonal things. Like you posted this up the other day, and I'm going, holy cow. The harbor's frozen over, and you can see almost like where it looks like the swell of the wave off the boat, literally frozen around the boat. And so, yeah, not necessarily the touristy things, but like the changes in life on the island. And it's just, I'm so drawn to that, and the Mother Nature side. But you do it so much better than when I try and capture it with a phone when I'm on the island for 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
And that makes me happy because I got enough damn competition as it is. All right, so don't start trying to get
Is that the Alabama by any chance? The school?
No, that's Shenandoah.
That's Shenandoah. Yeah.
So remember Captain Bob Douglas? He started the Black Dog.
Right.
Yep.
And he built Shenandoah. Alabama was previously built, but he completely refurbished, whatever the right, retooled that boat as well. And so Alabama is still owned by the Black Dog, but they donated Shenandoah to Martha's Vineyard Ocean Academy, which takes 5th grade, 6th grade kids out on ocean experiences and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
we did. My wife and I did the cruise. I think Michael did it too, and we went out for the 50th. And what a beautiful! Oh my God, what a just going out on that the Alabama and just teaching you a little bit. We do this, we do that, and going down and seeing the cruise quarters. It was beautiful. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, the boats, and unfortunately, this is Shenandoah's last year. I got to take lots of pictures this year.
Oh, wow.
Sorry about that. Let me mute that.
Okay.
I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Wow, look at that with all the sails
The
open.
beautiful sails on that.
That's Shenandoah, and I took that with my drone. It's funny because the captain and crew, they all know when they see a drone flying alongside, they don't, call 911 or think some creepy guy is out there after them. They know it's me taking.
That's because you don't live in Pennsylvania. It's different here. Trust me.
Yeah, or
They view things a little differently here. Trust me.
Yeah, or
Yeah, you want
Tennessee,
the creepy guy syndrome. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
Shenandoah it's got some structural issues, and after all these years, it's gonna go. This is it, the last season, and they're already have plans to raise money to build Shenandoah 2, which is going to actually be a steel hull boat.
Oh wow!
And it's going to have an engine in it. Shenandoah does not have an engine, which you maybe want to say, let's keep it that way. But you know what? They got 5th grade. They can do so much more with it if the thing could actually move on its own instead of, having to depend on the wind and when you got kids on board, So.
But they'll still have sails, I would hope, in order to.
Oh
teach
yeah,
them
the
with
engine
all
is
that.
just,
So,
yeah.
okay.
Alabama actually has an
Okay.
engine as
Right.
well.
Does
but
it
Yep.
You try to use it like never, but you have it if you need it, right?
need it? Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say I wouldn't know what a boatload of 5th and 6th graders is like, but I can tell you what 25 3rd graders are like.
Yeah.
So
It's fun though, man. I try to do what I can to help. The kids, I have a contest. And so when the kids go out on Shenandoah in the summer, we do this thing where I say, look, if you come into my gallery and you can name 3 parts of the rigging, you get a free picture of the boat that, like, I get to almost all the boats that go out. They go out every week with a different group. And if they come in and can name 3 parts of the rigging, they get a free picture, or usually a drone picture of the boat.
That's
they were
pretty
on.
cool.
It's a lot of fun. The kids come in and they can usually get two parts of the rigging. They can't get the 3rd. And so it gives me a chance to give them a hard time about how I'm not giving them a picture,
No, but you teach them a lesson as well. So it's good.
No, it's great. It's just one of the things. I mean, you can't come to Martha's Vineyard. It's going to be a shame because without Alabama, I mean, you guys come into Vineyard Haven Harbor. That's when you first show up here. You got Shenandoah sitting there.
Yeah.
sure.
And you have Alabama. That's part of the whole thing,
Yeah.
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 I'm so glad we did that. It was great.
Yeah. So it gives me a chance to, work with the different groups and stuff like that. The drone's been very cool as far as getting different perspectives and being able to do pictures like videos like that going alongside the boat as it's sailing along. So
Sure. Which do you have? I mean, do you have a season that you prefer? Not just from the photogenic side, but do you have a season on the island that you prefer in general? Like I'm a school teacher, so fall is out of the question. I am dying to get up there
Yeah.
between like October and maybe like up for like the holidays.
Mm.
yeah, you got to come to Christmas in Edgartown. You got to do that once.
That's what I keep hearing. Yeah.
It's 2 weekends before, Santa shows up, big time stuff, man. Santa's here and they do the parade. The hotels are, a fair number of hotels are open, inns are open. And it's just it's like a throwback, The problem is, and it's something that I've already warned people this year that I've been running the gallery. I've had a gallery now for over 10 years. I hit 68. And I love taking pictures here in the winter. I love the solitude, People have no idea. They come in and they almost have a heart attack. They come in the summer and they see snow and they go, "Oh my God, it snows here." And I said, "Yeah, we're not like in the Caribbean." It's like, yeah, there's snow here. And so, but they can't even contemplate it. Like if you showed up here today and we went out, like I took a picture with my drone off the Gayhead Cliffs and with the Gayhead Light covered in snow. I mean, it's amazing. If you some people don't want to even envision Martha's Vineyard with snow on it, but I can go places. I feel a lot of loss when the spring comes, because what happens is there's a lot of property owners here that like leave gates open, leave their property accessible. I've met a lot of people over the years, and so I can go places that I can't go in the summer. So I can get to along Moship Beach where all the dunes are near the Gayhead Light. I can access all those dunes and take pictures in the off season because all of the gates are open that would normally be locked for the visitors, the tourists and all that sort of stuff. I can go with the dog on any beach, any place I want, anywhere. And then suddenly the end of spring hits and it feels like you've been, oh my God, I can't go places that I used to go before. And people don't really know that side of the island. And I'm kind of happy about it because I kind of like being out there by myself, honestly. So I don't need anybody else showing up out there, but there's something like if you go to a beach that's absolutely populated in the summer and you're standing there all by yourself with not a soul around, it's very surreal.
Yeah.
You know, a very surreal experience. And it gives you that chance if you're trying to connect and stay, I have this sense of spirituality about me. We all have our own, thing on that. But part of the reason I take pictures is because it gets me out and it puts me in those places that I would have never known before if I didn't pick up a camera. I was very isolationist and now the camera's getting me out to those locations. And so it's really an experience that if you knew what I knew now, you'd probably book a weekend trip just to come out and see what it's like. Because some people don't know Martha's Vineyard without thousands of people crushing into every place.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We have a couple of people chime in, and I just wanted to kind of throw it up there. Nick Hathaway, who happens to live on an island, I think he's in Edgartown.
Yeah, Nick, how are you, Nick?
Yeah, he's saying hello, and he's saying, yes, my favorite part of the trip as a kid, and we were on the Shenandoah. He said he was so happy as a kid to be out there last year on the original one. So very, very cool. So,
Sorry, I'm not laughing at Nick. All I see is his tail go by like
the cat
this.
tail, yeah,
And the
like a shark fin, isn't it? I've got one that looks just like him in here. Yeah.
He's like doing his impression of Bruce, just coming up in the water.
Yeah.
There goes the tail.
I teach photography on Zoom, so believe me, he gets jealous and it screws everything up. But everybody loves it. So
nice.
Yeah.
We got Victor Marabelli.
It's
I'm
great.
sorry. Go ahead. No, I apologize. I didn't interrupt. Sorry.
No, say hi to Nick for me.
Yes, yeah. And Victor Marabelli, he's joining on saying, "Good evening, everyone. Really interested in what's going on." I got a old friend I ran into about a week ago, Mike Rimp. He's joining us and saying hello as well. Juanita Smith, who's a big fan of yours, and from what I understand, adorns the house with your work. So is on and says hello there. So
yeah, I'm only friendly with people that have my artwork in their house. That's it, right?
Well, crap! I got to get off of here now. God, okay.
You were talking about
love my living room.
That's what's cool about it, though. Let me say this is, like when things happen to us in our life, part of it's the life stage you're at. Mm-hmm. And when I started doing this here, I have this gallery and like people, like I'm this summer is the first time I've actually thought about not opening. And there's a lot of, and I feel like there's people that come here, and this is like I could have never imagined this, but people, part of their trip is now to come see me, which is still hard for me to fathom because of the past and everything else. But they come here, and so now when I say I don't. Because you guys, I only see Martha's Vineyard in the winter. It's hard for me to get out and take, like, maybe I want to go windsurfing or maybe I want to go do, you know what I mean? I like almost 7 days a week in the gallery in the summer. I miss every summer. And I didn't even get to see Richard Dreyfuss this year. I mean, when I was down with Mike Sterling and the amazing work he did with the Jaws replica at the Jaws 50th, I at least got down and met Mike, and we did it. We arranged that when he was going to take Orca out into the harbor, that I'd do the.
Oh wow! Look at that.
I'd do the drone. I'd follow him with the drone, but I didn't get to see Alves and Dreyfuss, and because I was working. I mean, I could have just said, "Hell with it, I'm closing the gallery and I'm going." But it was so nice, that video. And you know what? Like, I'm a perfectionist. And so when Mike and I did this, I had this plan of how I wanted this video. This video has been seen by about 400,000 people.
Wow.
Because there's a lot of crazy Jaws people in the world.
That's why we're here. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well,
that's why I'm flying the drone behind Orca, right?
Yeah, right.
I'm adding myself to the list. But see these boats. that boat was part of the process. So, but there's other boats, and everybody saw that it was Orca, and all these boats came flying around. And I'm selfish, and I wanted this perfect drone filming of Orca as if it were in the original movie, where I could move the drone around, and as the boat, and behind and from up above, and I'm like dodging out of the way. I'm flying low with the drone, and these guys are speeding up in their power boats, and I almost got knocked out of the sky because I was flying at a low level. And so everybody loves the video, and I have lots of other footage, and Mike has that footage. It was mutually beneficial. I had a chance to make a few photos to sell here in the gallery, and he's got the video to use as part of his, as he goes forward and does what he's doing. And so I wanted like a cinematic, perfect, thing, but people don't seem to complain. But that's the problem. Everybody knows Orca. When they see it out on the water, everybody comes like a magnet, and you can't have that isolated time to yourself when you're trying to film something like that, unless you have the harbor master or something like that. So, but it was a lot of fun, but I didn't get a chance to spend as much time down there with the 50th because of working in the summer. And it's me and a dog named Brody, I have no other help, and I'm very much tied to this because most of the pictures that people come in that they may purchase, or maybe a story that was written with it that impacted them in some way. And when they come here, I can't have anybody working for me. I've had somebody here, and they come in the door and they say, well, where's Mike? And the employee will say, he'll be back in tomorrow. And so they just leave and they come back the next day. And so I really can't have anybody working here because I'm very much tied to the artwork and the stories. And so I don't know, I got to decide. I love what I do, but there's, as you get older, you want to do some other things at the same time, whatever. So I'm contemplating reducing some hours, and I have an RV, and maybe go cross country this summer or late summer, or up to Canada. It's kind of sacrilege, but we all have I lost my dad last year, and when that happens, and Nate, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
That there's just no, it changes you when stuff like that happens. And so you start looking at all aspects of your life and stuff, but it would only be temporary. That's what the cool thing about photography is, that like I can be 98 and still take pictures, right? I mean, it's not like it's not like a time limited profession,
No,
So
not at all.
You could have employees ask the customers, have you ever met Mike? And they say no. They go, well, now you're meeting him. Hello, I'm Mike.
Well, and two, I would think with what you're doing, is such a personal in perspective with you, because it's your perception when you're seeing that photo. That's your perception of something. That's not, you're not buying a postcard somewhere or something like that. And so I would think that kind of automatically ties you in, because people want to hear not only like where it was taken, what it was taken, what time of day, whatever, but your experience ties to that photo. And so I would think that unfortunately that burden kind of becomes yours, because it's that connection, and people have the connection beyond just a picture or a poster on the wall. It's that personal connection and that story that you share with it that I would think is what kind of brings them in. Because I mean, your photos are incredibly amazing, and drone footage is amazing, but yet when you hear the story unravel about it, or even I look for the reflections and what happened yesterday and what I see, I'm so drawn to that because it connects to it, and then I want to connect to it, and so it's an amazing experience that you can't, I don't know.
There was last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago, just as an example, I posted a photo that had Cassie, which is it always sits in Vineyard Haven Harbor near Shenandoah and whatever, where the ferry comes in, and it's this red scull rowing boat where they take adults and they put them in there with oars, and it almost looks like a penal colony kind of torture situation. They make them row across the harbor in sub-zero weather. It's kind of funny to watch. But I took a picture of Cassie sitting in the front, and in the back there was fog, and there was Shenandoah, Alabama. All these big schooners were in the back, and they were shrouded in fog. And I looked at the picture and I said, look at that. Cassie is different and beautiful, but I had this feeling of stigma. Like I remember when I came back, all the people were looking at me when I went down from alcoholism. I had this, shame or whatever, but I knew that I had changed and that I was started to love myself again. And I felt, but nobody else knew it. They were all sitting in the back in the fog, and I'm looking at all these boats that all looked alike and me looking completely different. And I'm sitting in the front. So I wrote a story about how stigma feels when you come back from addiction or whatever. And you don't know when you write these stories of people, you're in your basement on your computer writing a story. You don't know if people think you should be locked up and put away, or does it mean something to them? I never write trying to guess. I write from my heart. And so this woman comes into the gallery like 2 days later, and she comes in and she says to me, do you have that picture of Cassie with the boats and the fog in the back? And as she's asking me, her phone rings, and I can hear this guy on the phone, and he's saying, does he have it? Does he have it?
Oh, wow.
And it was her husband. And he was in the hospital with bleeding sinuses because he was a war vet and he had those toxic burn pits.
Oh, wow.
Oh, geez.
He had to be rushed to the hospital because he was profusely bleeding. Well, what the hell was he doing calling about a picture in my gallery? And she says, he really wants that picture. And he says, do you have it? And we know you just posted that story a few days ago. Do you have it? I said, yeah, I print everything here. I'm happy to get that for you. So I printed it up in whatever. And 3 weeks later, he came here. And it's, this big guy, 6 foot. I mean, you want messing with this Marine, the sacrifice he gave to our country.
Yeah.
And he gave me a big hug.
Oh, wow.
And he suffers from severe PTSD.
Oh, wow.
And there's something about that photo, and I don't need to know, but for some reason he feels less alone in some way because he feels stigma. I it's not my business to ask what is it that you see and how does it make you feel better when you look at that picture. It's not my business, but I know that when he looks at that back in his home, it means something to him.
Yeah.
And that's to me what this is all about. And so if you tried to separate the stories, I don't think I'd want to work in a typical gallery where people just walk in and, I mean, they do. You don't have to have you might like this tulip. I just want to buy a freaking tulip. I don't need a story with it. I love that flower. Let's not be so deep on every damn photo. And I get that. But what makes it really especially rewarding for me here on the Vineyard is that people come in and we share those kinds of connections. And it's rewarding because I feel like not only is someone getting a nice piece of art, but I feel like I'm helping them in some way, and that it's meant something to them. And so it's been a really rewarding, it's been amazing here on the island, and doing this. So.
If I could, I'm gonna put a plug in for you, simply for the fact that I love it. Michael has, I think, 2 books. Am I correct in saying that?
The first one's called Fighting for My Life. That was published way back in 2014. It sold out. We did a second edition, and then this newer one was 2021, and the one you've got in your hands is Through a Sober Lens. Yeah.
Yeah. Through a Sober Lens, and on top of the photography being simply amazing, the story that you briefly touched on and talked about that goes along with your life journey, and in the book is as deep and as amazing, I think, as some of the photographs. And there's one that I'll never forget. The first time I read it, you said your most favorite picture in the book happens to be this picture right here.
Oh, wow.
Which is an incredible picture and might not seem as dramatic, whatever some of the other pictures, but it's not necessarily just because of the picture. It's because of what you're talking about and why that picture is so incredibly important to you. And again, I think, to me, that's what that draw is. The surface of it is the photography and the beautiful visuals, but yet you know, the way you tie in and your heart and your connection with it behind it is just what's so incredibly endearing and honestly draws me into that. So I wanted to
Oh,
share that. I just thought that was amazing. Yeah.
yeah, thank you. And you know, unplanned. I think that's the thing that's in, you know, if I took a step back and said, how did you get here, Mike? There was absolutely I had no interest in being a photographer whatsoever. I mean, I teach people when they come into my class, I say they want, they want to be able to take better pictures. I said, you guys are already starting off better than me because I had no interest in being a photographer. I did it because, I heard this message and I decided to try a camera, and then I started to share. I had no idea where this was going. I remember when I walked into my gallery the first time, and it was over on Circuit Ave in Oak Bluffs. The gallery was silent, and I just walked in and I was all by myself. And I looked up at the walls and I said, how did this happen? How did this happen? It's like I couldn't even take it in. It was like I had no plans to do this, zero plans. And suddenly look at this, so sometimes, you can't tell a kid that's going to college that wants to figure out what the right thing is for them that, don't plan anything. Don't just listen for messages and you'll get where you need to go.
Yeah, it's a blessing in disguise.
But at a certain age of life, you have the flexibility. Like I said, when I almost lost everything, I had a CEO come in once and she looked at me and she says, you were a healthcare executive, you were a COO and you ran these companies. She looks at me, she says, I want to be you. But I can't because I have all this, I run this company and whatever. And then I looked at her and I said, you know what? I'm lucky. I'm lucky that I went through all of that because because I'd rather have gone through that than be tortured for the rest of my life thinking I'm not doing what I was supposed to do. I almost was glad I got flushed down the toilet and popped back up again, because then I had the freedom to do whatever I wanted without worrying about what society thinks. Because society already made their decision that I was not a good person, that I was sort of publicly shamed basically. And so once you get that, all the encumbrance around you off your back, it gives you the flexibility to become the person you're really supposed to be. And so it was a blessing in the long run, and to have it all come together on Martha's Vineyard is the miracle. On Amity Island,
On Amity Island, truly is.
Yeah.
Truly is. You were talking earlier about up island, the western side of the island, which is by far one of my favorite places to be, probably some of the most picturesque and most quiet places of the island. I do a lot of bike riding, and I do a lot of bike riding when I'm on the island. I'll go out and ride with the bike group there, and what we often find ourselves down in that end just because of the lack of traffic. But the scenery is amazing. And I'm just gonna play this in the background. He has a video, just footage and pictures of Menemsha and of those particular areas. And you guys continue with whatever conversation. I feel like I want to show more of what he does on top of sitting and having this conversation. So I'll kind of put this in the background, but it is just stunning. If you've never been there, you have to go. If you've been there, oh my gosh, you're going to look at this and just wish you were there right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Menemsha. What I tried to do is go back over the years. Back in the day, like you see those boats up there, you had Unicorn. I don't know how far back you guys go, but Unicorn, Strider, they were these amazing trawlers that eventually kind of rusted out and whatever. But those were that was the waterfront of of Menemsha for so long. And those pictures there, I was able to get the Milky Way over Menemsha where Orca went out. One day I went and see, the problem with boats is that they bob up and down. And it's a pain in the ass when you need to do a long exposure. So I went down once and I saw that it was so cold that Menemsha Harbor froze.
Oh, wow.
And that means all the boats were frozen in ice.
Beautiful.
And I said, yes, they're frozen in ice. So I went back at night at 10 o'clock at night and I did a long 20-second exposure over Menemsha and I caught the star field. And the only way you can do that, because if you do a long exposure and the boats are moving, they're going to be all blurry. So they have to be frozen in place. So I was able to get the Milky Way over Menemsha Harbor because of the really cold temperatures, So,
Wow.
but yeah, that's the cool part. Like I still watch the movie and then I look at, which shacks are still there. And, it's like even the spot where Quint's workshop and whatever it was is, like a
Sure.
little flower bed now, but it's like, you always have those thoughts in mind when you're down there. And, it's just a cool place to go. You just sit there at Menemsha with your eyes closed, listening to the bell buoy clank out in the distance. That's it, man. That's it. Yep.
That's it. Yep.
That's the sound
right.
of happiness for me.
It is.
Yeah,
You're
it
not
really
kidding.
is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning.
And I take photos for the Derby, for the Striped Bass Derby every year. My sponsorship is to provide photos for the cover and for the prints that are part of the prize package. So it's a lot of fun going down to the jetty. You're out there in October. I've got some cool pictures that I probably should have sent them to you, but I've got some really cool Derby pictures with guys fishing off at the end of the jetty in Menemsha with, giant waves crashing, and these people are crazy, So it's a lot of fun. Not that much different, man, than it was back in 40, 50 years ago.
I was going to say, but that's the overall the feel, at least I get when I'm on the island. Unfortunately, people that aren't familiar with it kind of have the perception of what they see at times with social media, the glamorous side and some of the super uber wealthy and all that kind of stuff. And to me, it's so much more there than that. I often feel like I'm going back in time 100 years. Like
there it is. Yep.
Everything
agree.
is mom and pop. Everything closes at 5 o'clock. You can walk an awful lot of. I mean, it is such a breath of fresh air. I don't see a Walmart. I don't see a McDonald's. I don't see Holiday Inns. And to me, that is just so incredibly refreshing. And just
there's not even a traffic light on the island. I love that, man. That's awesome.
Well, the 3 things, right? The 3 things that aren't on the island, and it not really pure, but close.
What's that?
There's no traffic, no stoplights.
Mm-hmm.
There's a blinking yellow, okay, but no stoplights. There's no billboards.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Right. And then number 3, there's no commercial entities except, and let's be thankful for this. Well, we have a Stop and Shop.
Yeah.
And DQ been there forever. So there's grandfathered in, thank God. And then the last one is there's a Starbucks hidden in the Edgartown Fish Market.
Oh, is there? There's a Starbucks.
Yes, there is. Yes,
It's hidden inside. You are not, and you might have to erase this part of the video because I might have already violated some confidentiality. But if you really get desperate, there is a Starbucks inside Edgartown Meat and Fish over by the post office in Edgartown. All right.
Yeah.
That's it. So the 3 things: no commercial, no billboards, no traffic lights.
So there's no fast food joint anywhere on the island. Nowhere you can go to get fast food.
No
Nope.
McDonald's,
Nope.
no Burger King, no Walmarts.
That's great.
When I get off the island, I go to Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's, and I usually just go one to them, run right after the other, get like that kind of out of my system.
I thought for sure there would be a Dunkin' Donuts on the island somewhere because they're everywhere. I mean, up the East Coast, and not a one. Yep.
No, that's it. I can't think of any others. So that's kind of it. Yeah, Starbucks is there, but no, I mean, if they started doing all that stuff, I mean, that's the charm, right? Like you said.
Oh,
I mean, you're not coming to Martha's Vineyard to go through the drive-through at McDonald's. I mean, you know what? We got to keep it. That's where there's a lot of battles raging on the island right now because of development, and you have people that can't afford to live here, but they need school teachers, they need people to work at the hospital, and so there's development and affordable housing, and the only thing you don't want Martha's Vineyard to turn into a lot of sections on Cape Cod where you drive for miles and there's nothing but one strip mall after another. That's not the charm that makes it the place that people love to come to, So.
No, I grew up not too far from, not terribly far from Ocean City, New Jersey, and Ocean City, Maryland. And I have not been back in many a millennia, and I don't have any intentions. I don't, it's great when you're a little kid or when you're a teenager, but you go up to the vineyard and it's a completely different ball game, and I am so
I
drawn
think
to that.
it's a part of Americana, if you ask me.
Thrasher's fries, Nate. Thrasher's fries.
Thrashers. Yeah, Jen won't give that up, but she would drop everything and go up to the vineyard. Like my wife, Mike, she grew up. She's from Pennsylvania, where I'm at. Parents had a place at the shore in Delaware, and so they would spend their summers there. She and her mom and her brother would live there for the summer when they were teenagers to get a job, and I don't know that she'd ever been to any other shores besides that. And like I said, we went out to the vineyard literally for like 2 days, and we all instantly fell in love with it. I mean, I could never not go there without her coming along. I mean, she's ready to jump ship here and head up there. And honestly, I think if it wouldn't be for the current issue with land and real estate and the housing crisis, I think I would definitely entertain that idea. But
I have a shed in the back, man. It has an air conditioner in the window and an electric heater in the back. It's got a futon, but I could probably get like $2,000 a month for it, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But like right now, again, you look at Martha's Vineyard when people most often see it, like when the movie was filmed, but like if you were here right now, and there's people that absolutely freak out about this. They'll come in and say, what do you do? Like this is February. January and February on the island is like, it's like you can actually go outside my door during the day and not hear a car for quite some time. You can go down to stop and you're going down to Edgartown and whatever, it's just so quiet. It's unreal. But people will say, what do you do? It's February. There's a lot of people that can't handle. Like we have a bowling alley and a movie theater, right? We got the little Edgartown Cinema.
Right. Yeah.
We have, the Barn and Bowl Bistro, and there's a few restaurants open.
Yeah.
To get Thai food. And then you have to go to the little things that are being held at, just to keep people from going crazy from isolation. But that's what I love about it. I mean, like you go bowling and you go to the movie theater, and some people can't handle that, but that to me is the charm of living in a small little an island like this, especially in the off season where everybody's gone. January and February, everybody's gone. Those are up until Christmas. Christmas is still pretty busy around here, and then everybody's out of here, vacation and otherwise. So.
What percentage of the island is closed right now, would you say, Michael? Like how much of it is like 70%, 50%?
Yeah, like right now it's got to be somewhere around there, if not more.
Wow.
Because, like you think about the ice cream shops, there's only one place you can get ice cream in Vineyard Haven. Everything like in Circuit Ave, like if you come to Oak Bluffs, where the Jaws 50th was kind of centered, except partially in Edgartown, where Orca was. That's that whole street's basically that we have like one clothing store and a grocery store. All dozens of other businesses are all completely shut down. You have just enough to be able to get kind of what you need. That's So yeah, this is a flyover in the fall. That might so you get a lot of the scenes. That's East Chop over by that just flew right over Chief Brody's house in the movie. Yeah. And then in Oak Bluffs, and so I basically did lots of that's Lake Tashmoo, and then I head out over the Jaws Bridge, and that's Lambert's Cove, and then you're up island in Chilmark, and a lot of the people know and there's Menemsha from up above, and then coming in a little bit closer.
There's the cliffs.
Man,
do I love walking the cliffs. Oh my gosh.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's fun. The drone creates a whole different ability to see the island in ways that you can't see it any other way. So this is an example of circling around the Gayhead Light and going up over it. That the drones have auto capability they have the ability to put in programs. And so you can do these kinds of things when people say, wow, you're pretty steady with that. I say, no, I'm not. It has, you can program in something to do ovals or spirals or, you know, all that sort of stuff. So I enjoy this in the off season. There's no one around. I don't like to do the drone. I'm not one of these people. And there's the Jaws Bridge. You know, I don't like flying over people. I don't do any of that. And there's State Beach where the Jaws Bridge is as well. And now you're out on Chappie at the famous Dyke Bridge.
Yeah.
And that's Cape Pogue Wildlife Refuge out there close to the Cape Pogue Light. And then we come back into Vineyard Haven here where everybody's used to coming in. But, you know, that's why I like the off season, because you can capture the island without people around, and it makes it easier to do kinds of videos like this. And I just do these for fun. You know, it's people love to watch them. There's people that are so emotionally tied to this island that when they leave, if they come on a 1 week vacation and they're leaving on it, I have to have Kleenex here in the gallery because they're heading to the ferry, and they are in tears because they've been here for a week and they're not going to be here for 52 more weeks. Yeah. And so there's such a connection that people have to this place, and it just makes me happy that I'm a part of it, you know, in some small way.
Well, when I came to the island, my wife and I, we immediately fell in love with it, Michael. It was just not just the Jaws aspect of it, just the beauty of the island, how nice the people were, how, you know, I can't imagine, like you said, I can't imagine living there. It would be heaven. I mean, you know.
Yeah, it's, you know, the thing that's hard, because I do a calendar every year that I raise money for nonprofits here on the island. And the calendar last year's was bought from people in 38 different states. So it's not a Martha's Vineyard thing.
How did Nate get all that good stuff, man? Look at you.
he just racks up on stuff.
I know.
This is last year's. Yeah, this is last year's. Yeah,
I'm going to buy the new one. Is the new one available? I'm going to buy it.
Well, at the end, I am going to pull his site up for everyone at home, and I am going to post the links across the pages because you guys have got to check the stuff out. Just incredible.
Yeah, I'll put it on TikTok too.
But you know what happens with Martha's Vineyard is there's that, you just brought it up. There's that two views of this island. There's the mansions and, you know, and then there's the people that live here year round. We have 30% of the population here are Brazilian on a year round. You know, and I get zingers sometimes when I post things online, and you have these people that are so angry. They hate Martha's Vineyard, you know, and it's like you post something and they want to just nail you because you live on this gaudy, unsensitive, uncaring island. And it's like, oh my God, you have no idea what you're talking about. Because
they haven't experienced it. They're just
there are people, and I don't have anything against rich people. There are some really nice rich people. Even when Obama's here, he's done some really nice things that I'm not going to get into. But there are some so I'm not going to put the rich against the poor. But we are like salt of the earth people and it's like, if I say something about how I love the people here, it's like, but some people it's easier for them just to hit you when they only know half the truth and they don't want to bother to find out the whole truth. So, you know, we do have, like when I go on travel, like when I took my RV across country in some areas that probably aren't as Massachusetts Democrat, they'd say, where are you from? And it's hard enough to say Massachusetts. There's no way in hell you're saying Martha's Vineyard.
Right.
No, but it's true. You worry about it. It's like,
very true.
Anybody hate Martha's Vineyard? Is there something wrong with them? They hate it.
No, it is. It's basically he is right. The poor versus the rich. And I live in a very red state, and I've been to Martha's Vineyard several times. But I grew up in the South. I love it, and I get creamed like all the time. You know. Yeah. Oh well, you haven't experienced it. You don't know what it's like until you go.
Yeah,
it's very magical. You don't know. And then I talk to them about it, and I'm like, oh, well, we didn't know about that. I'm like, well, you have to go. You know, get your own experience on it.
And it happened, you know, when the immigrants were flowing here. And I don't even want to get into this, but the point is that if someone really takes the time to understand who lives here,
right,
year-round population, you know, we have 30%. We have so many immigrants. We have so many people of color that are here, and nobody would even have a thought of that. And that's what makes the place cool, is that we have the diversity here,
Right.
and we all coexist, you know, in kind of a cool way in this beautiful place, you know. So it's really a really good story, but people will only be able to, you know, take it as far as they're willing to research and to get the information, you know. So you just have to understand everybody comes from a different place. You know, I've learned in social media, if somebody has a negative to say, that's their thing. We all have our perspective. You respect everybody. You just do your thing, tell your story, and you hope it resonates with enough people that helps them. And you just kind of, we have to be we'll have to get along.
Correct. I agree with that. Yeah, because I grew up in a lot of diversity as well.
Yeah.
So I was very blessed to have a father who raised somebody that says, "Hey, you may learn something from that person," and I have, and it's been a blessing for me. So I get it. Yeah.
We have a great recovery community here too. You know, we have.
Yeah, you do.
We have so many meetings and people that help each other out. There's just,
great.
It can be tough for people because of the off season. You got to survive the winter when you're in the trades and all that sort of stuff. So it can be difficult, but it's a really cool group of people that live here. That's what makes it part of what it is. So,
you know, we use the word, and we've used this a lot when we describe Martha's Vineyard, and it is indeed magical. And your photographs capture that magic, Michael. So,
well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, 1000%. Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
And we, you know, two things. We often see one side of Martha's Vineyard, just like the people only know one side, or just they see only what they perceive. And so they don't quite get to see the depth of it. And while we're talking, I'm going to pull up the video of Summer, because that's the side that we always see. And one of the things that I have come to know is the community on Martha's Vineyard, the tightness of the community, because really, you know, when the summer's gone and places shut down, I mean, all you guys have is yourself. There really isn't, you know,
it's beautiful.
The bulk of it is gone. So it is just the community. So one of the biggest things I witness outside of the island uniqueness is, and what makes part of that uniqueness is the people that are there, and that sense of community, and that, you know, I can go up there and I will never forget. I've told the story a million times. My wife and I, we were there. It was our first time there. We had just done like 5 days coming up through New England, and it was like getting late and places were shutting down, and we're walking down through Oak Bluffs. I think we're coming down through Circuit, because we were staying up off of Narragansett Avenue, and tensions were getting up there. We're starting to argue a little bit about where we're going to eat dinner, and it's getting late, and my son's getting cranky. And this guy from behind me, you could tell he just finished up working for the day doing landscaping. He taps me on the shoulder. He says, "Hey, you guys, you want a place to eat?" He said, "Something good, not gonna be real expensive." He said, "Go down to Giordano's." He said, "You get 2 plates of pasta and a bottle of wine for $35. You look like you had a rough day." You know, it's that kind of thing that if you're in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and someone taps you on your shoulder, you're running because you don't know what the hell's going to happen next. And so,
right.
But in all honesty, and so that tightness is there, and everything that you read, or, you know, the people that I've gotten to know, you get that sense every time you talk to them. I mean, it's like almost like you're included in that. There's a big acceptance there, and that's really, really something that's hard to come across anymore.
It's funny because, like at the YMCA, when you have summer people come in, I remember one guy looking at me, and he saw me put my keys and my stuff in my locker, and he says, "You don't have a lock?" I said, "What if somebody steals your car?" I said, "What are they going to do with it? We're on an island." Like, come on. So it is different, because people are, you know, you're wired for the environment you came from, and you land on this island that, you know, it's not like we don't have any problems or issues that go on, but I love those skimmers. Sorry.
Wow, that is beautiful.
They fly along at about 30 miles an hour with their beak, one beak in the water and one out. It's unreal to watch. But anyway, it's funny when people come and they realize that, you know, they're only going to drive so far with your car. So,
and you know, just like I often say, like, we simply skim the surface and just catch it in the summer when the tourism is height and all that. Right?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot more depth to you. You're obviously incredible
Wow,
at
look at that
your
shot.
work and what you
That's
do,
beautiful.
but
Wow.
you run a lot deeper than that. You do your part to give back. I mean, you've gone back, gotten more education. You're in there, you're helping out. You're working with groups of people, whether it be whatever. I think counseling, whether it be people in recovery or just local community aid. You really put it out there, and I often say that there's a line to cross when you go from being someone who sits back and watches or participates to stepping up and wanting to take on an active role. And that's takes something for people to do that. You see a lot of people that don't cross that line. And when you do, it's pretty astounding to see that, because you're making that sacrifice, not because someone's telling you that you have to, because you have that intrinsic motivation, you're drawn to do that. And so that's very commendable, Mike.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah,
Wow.
I've always said that on my I shouldn't probably talk about my tombstone, but I'd rather, like I said, when I gave a talk the other day and I said, do you think I'm more comfortable in a group of, if I was in a room full of photographers or a room full of addicts and alcoholics? And I'm more comfortable in a room full of addicts and alcoholics because it's just, I don't look at photography. I think most people look at photography as the profession if they're professionals. I look at it as the language or the tool to get to people with the words and otherwise to help them heal in some way. So when people started responding on social media and say, wow, you take good pictures. Of course, my ego, because, I was just coming back from getting sober and whatever. So us alcoholics have a pretty good ego. I guess pretty much everybody does, but I had an ego. And as soon as people started liking my photos, I said, oh, I'm going to, they'll be erecting a statue next to Ansel Adams of me, because, and you're off to the races. And it felt meaningless. And then when the mission statement changed to instead of being the best photographer, to using my photography to help other people, that's when everything took off.
Wow.
Because when you put service work into your mission, it just works that way.
Yeah.
People rise up to meet you that you would have never. There's some really kind people. A lot of stigma with alcoholism and addiction is within the person's brain.
Yeah.
You are self-stigmatized. You are ashamed. But when you go out and you actually talk about it and share, there are people there that you think are going to judge you poorly that are going to rise up to help you that you could have never anticipated. So it all ended up coming together, with sharing. So it's still, for me, on the tombstone, I think I said at the talk I did the other day, I said, Michael Blanchard took pictures and he wrote stories, and he convinced a few people that thought they were alone that they weren't. And that could be my final epitaph.
Wow.
So it doesn't have to be that he had 70,000 fans on Facebook. Well, kind of meaningless, isn't it? Yeah.
We've got a couple of people just throwing a couple of comments and a question or two. Juanita saying, I have a calendar on my desk at work. Yeah,
Wow.
I don't have the 26 calendar yet. I got to get on. I'm ashamed to say that. But
You're done, brother. I'm sending you to Procrastinators Anonymous, man. You're done. I'm sorry. They're all sold out. They're gone. So
You're kidding or you
thought I
serious?
read that about, I thought you put that up that they were gone. Yeah. So
they go every year, and and it's like, what I'm going to do is save a batch of like 10 of them, and then when someone comes to me like you, I'm going to like triple the price.
there you go. That's right. Right?
I like that picture,
That's what
Michael.
we get.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. It was a few years ago. I'm trying to hold it together there, man. But no, in fact, that's coming up. We're gonna support the Vineyard House Sober Home this year, and I do
Very nice.
voting, and the 12 days of calendar voting has gotten out of control. I sometimes have as many as 100,000, 150,000 people that vote. And what I do is I take photos that I took last year and I break them into the months they were taken, and then I have people over 12 days, 12 months, pick the photos for next year's calendar. And so that starts on Valentine's Day. And so there are people over the years now that have it on their calendars, and they and they'll see 15 photographs for January, for example. And I'll say, I only want you to pick the top 5. And so when they keep it to that, you end up building up a like tally of the most favored photos, and the top votes get the featured pictures on the calendar. And when you vote on something, there's a higher tendency you might buy it. So, but I don't mind being sleazy because it's a fundraiser. So okay to be sleazy.
My wife is one of the people that gets voted votes for the pictures every year, so she loves it. Yeah.
Yeah, good, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a fun thing.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, we are about rounding out on that hour mark. You guys have any questions? Anyone at home have any questions for Mike while we have him on? We'll take a look over here on the page.
Well, I saw Victor Mirabelli asked a question I saw on there, Nate, about if anybody here knew, or if Michael knew, where they filmed that last shot in Jaws where Hooper and Brody are swimming towards shore. Do we know where that is?
Cape
I
Pogue.
don't know.
Cape Pogue.
I know it's Cape Pogue, but I
Yeah.
that's one place I haven't been to on the island because of what it takes to get there.
Get there.
You know,
you have to go on
You got to
a
hop in
buggy?
someone's truck. I have a 4-wheel
Yeah.
drive truck, but I don't have a pass, and I've never driven in sand before, and I'm just not dumb enough to drop the tire pressure and take my truck out in sand and get stuck 5 miles away from
Well,
from the gardens.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, the erosion, and it's not what it used to be. So,
Right.
I mean, Cape Pogue right now, you can't get out to the light because there's a dispute with the landowners that hasn't been resolved yet.
Wow.
They just threw a large cut near Waysquee on, so we have a full cut. So actually, Chappaquiddick is officially an island again. Because
Oh,
Oh,
really?
wow. Oh,
Yeah.
Blocked off
okay.
again.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a large. I was going to go out and fly my drone, see what it looks like. It looks like it's large enough that it's going to last for a while. So Chappaquiddick is officially an island. You can only get there by the Chappie Ferry and whatever kayak you might have. So, when we first moved here, the houses are cheaper on Chappie because you got to go by the Chappie Ferry.
Sure.
But when we moved there, I had a 4-wheel drive with the sand, and I said, "Hey, back then you could drive from Cape Pogue across to Waysquee to Norton Point and come. So sometimes I'd go across on the Chappie Ferry and not come back. I would go all the way around and come out by South Beach in Katama. And so I said to Anne Marie, I said, all right, we can save some money and let's just get a house out here. And if we can't get the ferry, I'll just drive around like an idiot. Like when you first move here, you have no clue. You're clueless, basically.
Right.
And it's
Right.
like, if I would have done that as a strategy, are you kidding me? It's been closed forever. And now there's cuts, there's erosion, there's storms. And, I thought it was going to be like a super highway. It doesn't work that way.
Plus the chimney's gone.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, the
Sorry,
chimney at the end of the movie, that's gone. That came down a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was 2 of them originally, I thought, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah.
My question was, Michael, what is your favorite part of the island to take pictures of?
Oh, Jesus. You know what? I like South Beach because that's where I walk with my dog. They all have different meaning. You know what I mean? It's not just the physical. I love Menemsha because Menemsha always has that, that goes back as far as when I was in high school and wanted to be Hooper, And so every time I go down to Menemsha, I do. I have as much as I live here, when I go down to Menemsha, I see the you can't help but think of Jaws. You can't. It's like after all these years, you still have a thought. So there's something kind of cool about that. And then, I love the Gay Head Cliffs, Moship Beach. So I don't know if I have an absolute favorite spot. It depends on the time of year and the weather conditions and where the sun is and all of that sort of stuff. I like to do astrophotography too. And you can't really do that in the winter. You have to wait for the core cloud of the Milky Way to come up in the spring and the summer. So
Look at that.
That's beautiful.
yeah, that was not that long ago. I have an app that tells me where the moon's going to rise, so I can, I go all over the island trying to get set up right for the pictures. I take pictures because I love to take pictures. It's in this day of AI, you know, you'll take a picture like that. There's somebody that could generate that with AI, you
Oh,
know?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'll get, you know, I won't say a wise ass, I'll say a curious person. A curious person will once in a while say, that's AI. And I like, you know, brother, if you've been following me for the last 12 years, you'll know why I do this. And I don't need to have pictures made by AI. This is my joy. I don't, I'm joyful on doing the pictures, and I love the challenge of trying to capture it myself, you know, but it's a very skeptical society these days, you know.
Yeah.
Is there any place in the world that you would love to do some of your pictures or photography?
Well, I have an RV, and so it's been sitting here on the island, and I wanted to go long-term cross country.
Okay.
So that's one of my goals, but it's not just to take pictures. It's also to take the pictures of people. The goal was, where were you in the South?
I'm actually from, I was raised, Mike and I were raised in Florida. And
If
I
I
was
go- yeah.
thinking, yeah, and actually there's a lot of great places, the Everglades. I can see some of your pictures being taken there.
But you know what I want to do is I want to go to, you know, Alabama,
Oh
Oklahoma.
yeah.
I
yeah.
want to go into communities and spend time there, and I want to talk to people, because not only do I want to take pictures of the country, I want to take pictures of the people. I want to shift a little bit, and I want to talk to them. I want to show that we're alike more than we're different, and I want to ask them about their stories of hope and recovery. So if I can find somebody in Tuscaloosa that hates Martha's Vineyard, but you know what happens is addiction and recovery cross territorial lines. So in other words,
that's a common thing. It
yeah,
doesn't matter where you're from.
no, I went
Addiction is
to
addiction.
I went to New Mexico, and I went to an AA meeting in near Zuni Nation in the Navajo tribe. And I
Okay.
walked in, and I was the only white guy there, and they were all Navajos. They don't care. I drove in a white conversion van. I had more money in that van than they had in the entire village.
Yeah.
And instead of, you know, chasing me out, we were all brothers, because we were suffering from the disease of addiction, and we were in recovery.
Correct.
You know, so
And
so
there's
I'd
a
like
lot
to
of
go,
that. Yeah, there's a lot of that in the Native American areas as well in the community, and Florida has it as well with Miccosukee and the Seminole and all. But I could see you going to the Everglades and taking some really great, beautiful pictures.
all right, I'll take your, I'm not gonna argue with you.
I don't argue with me. It's just a suggestion. It's a friendly suggestion.
No, I said I'm not.
you have-
I said I'm not
Oh,
going to
good,
argue with you.
good,
I listen to
good.
everybody. Everybody
You-
comes with a, you know, message. I just should
You
should be
know,
listening to.
I don't think that. I mean, to be honest, I think you can take a picture of a wall and make it look beautiful. Just plain. There it is. I've said it.
You have an open invitation to come to see me in New Jersey. If I don't know
There
what
you
to do
go.
in New Jersey that you want, Michael. But
But now I live in the Smoky Mountains. I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Ooh,
So there's
that's
a
beautiful.
lot of great areas
Yep.
to take in Tennessee. So
Sure.
you're more than welcome to come here.
All right, I'm going to remember that.
There you go.
All right.
Wonderful. Well, we want to huge thank you, Michael, for you to come on and join us tonight. And I apologize. I feel like probably we didn't touch as much on what you do and how you do, but it's just been such an incredible conversation, and giving us an awful lot of insight, not only to you, to the island, to the culture. I really want to thank you for that, because that's not what I was expecting out of that. And so that was
good.
really,
I'm glad
really
I enjoy it. Yeah, I love stuff
terrific.
like that. So, yeah,
yeah.
great. I had a great time.
Yeah, awesome time. And those of you guys at home, we want to thank you for coming in and joining us tonight. And before we go, I do want to pull up and at least want to show, you can see Michael across Facebook. He has an Instagram page that you can follow as well. And I do want to pull up his site, and I'll be posting this across the pages for everyone at home that's interested in checking him out or seeing him, or maybe interested in checking out, maybe grabbing a couple pieces of his, maybe a book. I want to pull in his website for you guys just to see here. Where are we at? There we go. So get online, and I'm sorry, that's not the one I was looking for.
Currently unavailable, boo.
And
No,
how,
let me-
and how many books have you bought yet? From Amazon? I'm kidding.
No, that's error on my part. I have a couple tabs open and I hit the wrong tab. I apologize for that.
That's
Let me
okay.
stop sharing and
As long as
sorry.
it's not anything inappropriate, you're okay.
Yeah, I'd be
No,
more worried about that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Good.
Okay, we'll try that again. There you go. Strike two for me. So here we go. So yeah, this is Blanchard photomv.com. And if you guys get on the MVY website, which is the official kind of hub of Martha's Vineyard, he's also listed on there as well. So get on there and check him out. You know, whether you want to do some shopping and check out some beautiful images
Great.
he has available, whether you want to learn a little bit more about him. He also teaches classes and does training, and it looks like he's got some Zoom sessions as well as in person, and just a lot of wonderful things and a lot of wonderful connections. And on top of that, to be honest with you, just an amazing story. And obviously, what you've seen here, if you join us, just a wonderful person to talk to. So,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Mike, really cannot thank you enough with joining us tonight. It's been a real blast.
I've enjoyed it, you guys. Anytime. I appreciate your invite. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. And we have a little tradition here. I don't know if you happen to notice or not. Let's catch you off guard. We don't say goodbye here. That we don't do. We refer to ourselves as a Jaws family. We always try and keep in contact. So instead of saying goodbye, what we do is we do a fins up, and that's how we wrap up every show. So we do a quick little fins up, and we're going to let Quint take us out as we always do. We want to thank everyone at home for joining us again. You guys, it's been a wonderful evening. Michael, thank you very much again, and the whole crew. Just wonderful.
Thank you, Michael.
All right. Good night, you guys.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for your inspiration.
Well,
Have a wonderful evening.
to
Yep.
you
And
fair
hugs to your fur
Spanish
babies.
Yeah.
Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Right.
Take care.